It is once again Concacaf Nations League. Noches Mágicas de Concacaf, Liga de Naciones. All the leagues going on, all the drama happening, the Final Four being formed at this moment. But we're here today to discuss what went down in El Estadio Azteca in Mexico City last night. 2-2. Mexico, Jamaica, man. The Reggae Boys came out to play.
They are a very powerful team.
Take it away, Big J. Let the people know what happened.
As mentioned prior, on the last brief that we had, we did say Jamaica is a very formidable team, which is shown last night. The first goal that they scored was sensational. It was magical. Minute 6, Bob.
Intenta peinarla y lo consigue desde esa zona el número 11, Nicholson. Mira Reed.
Reed was out of this world. Probably one of the top goals of this edition of the Nations League. And Jamaica, man, they've always been a competitive team versus Mexico. We've met them in Gold Cups, World Cup qualifiers. They've always been there. So they're a very strong team. And I'm very disappointed in what Mexico showed versus Jamaica. And clearly the boos and a lot of the stuff that went on in the match, the fans were not happy, man.
I mean, that's been the talk last couple of hours, really. Last 24 hours, 48 hours. Yeah, last 24 hours, actually, where there were boos against Ochoa, right? Jorge Sanchez and Raul Hernandez as it came in the second half. And I mean, I've been saying it. This is good cop, bad cop here. I feel, to me, right? You know, once again, this is just the second match, but the talk of the town is that, you know, the boos are against not just these specific players. It's more of a message towards the team, right? That, hey, we're not happy with what you guys did during the World Cup, and this is our way of telling y'all how we feel. And there's been arguments across the board through Twitter, through the media, big shows, small shows, right? Where, hey, listen, the people, they bought a ticket, they have all the right to show the players how they feel. And I'm sure there's people that were at the stadium that didn't boo and they didn't say anything. I remember when I was at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium for a Mexico-Paraguay friendly match back in August, and pretty much everyone was saying, fuera, tata, fuera, tata. I mean, I was saying it too.
Wow.
And,
okay.
You know, and that means, you know, tata out. I mean, because, you know, we were already feeling some type of way towards. You know,
we all knew what was coming. We all could see what was the disaster that was about to happen later that year.
Right. And that's basically what happened here, right, at the beginning. But they weren't, you know, saying anything towards the coach. They were just a message like, hey, we're not happy with what happened at the World Cup, and we finally have you guys here, so we're going to let you know how we feel. And I think that's what the fans were trying to say towards the team. I don't think it was specific to these specific players, right? It's not that they hate Ochoa or anything like that, but I feel, and I've told you, right, you know, Guillermo Memo Ochoa is the golden child of the Selección Mexicana, right? They've marketed him very well over the years. And to me, he is a good goalie, right? But he does have those errors where they say he doesn't know how to come out. He doesn't know how to play the short game, you know, starting off with passing to the defenders, stuff like that. And, you know, everyone wants Carlos Acevedo to be, hey, give him.
Hey, yeah, I'm with them.
That generational, right? They want that,
and new blood, yeah.
Exactly. It's like you don't see Bob Bradley you don't see Michael Bradley playing with the U.S. anymore. It's like now it's, you know, the new blood, you know, the mechanics and the Tyler Adams and the Aronsons, and, you know, Mexico doesn't have that. And yeah, and I think it's crazy, right? They said that, you know, 10 of the 11 players that played against Saudi Arabia played here. And I mean, what else can you do?
Same.
Yeah. I'm kind of going on a rant here, but I'm just trying to explain.
Let it out, brother. Let it out. Let the people know how you feel, man.
But, you know, we haven't even talked about the game specifically. You know, just the rain pouring down, and then like the Cesar Montes giving the assist to that first Jamaican goal, and then
Bobby Reed.
the own goal by Edson Alvarez. He got flashbacks to 2018 against Sweden. When he scored a
second own goal. Edson Alvarez. Not trying to hate on him. He's having a great career in Ajax, but man, second time own goal. I know it must be frustrating for him. He's one of our better players in Europe, so it's unfortunate to see that from him.
Yeah, and the thing is, I feel that Diego Coca should have just had everybody travel together. Like I said in the last video, right? That was basically the team B that played against Suriname, and this is the A team, because most of these players are in Europe or did play the World Cup. So those are my 2 cents at the moment. I think if you want to get into the match or anything else, but it's pretty much the overall perspective, right? The 2-2 was. I do feel like Mexico did control the game for the most part. Jamaica was able to take advantage of certain situations, to get 2 goals, and hey, they played smart. And to me, Jamaica is on the come up. There will be contenders, and I would love to see them in the 2026 FIFA World Cup. I think that'd be great.
They will make it. I'm with you. All right. For the match, the Orbelín Pineda goal was a fantastic pass from Henry Martin.
Meten la pared, ya ganaron. Atención, diagonal retrasada, está el empate.
What do you think about Orbelín Pineda as a player? How did you feel he did against Jamaica?
I love Orbelín Pineda. If you guys get the chance, just YouTube Orbelín Pineda goal celebrations. He does this like famous dance. Me and the family do it. It's like he does the foot, like you gotta check it out. He's a good dude. He's a very humble guy. And I was very excited in the World Cup when he actually played against Saudi Arabia. He showed out, man. In that match, you could see number 10, Orbelín Pineda. First time they actually started him, thought that finally woke up, had Orbelín Pineda started him, and against Poland, against Argentina. Tata sold himself out against Argentina, playing a different formation. Orbelín Pineda has to be, to me, starting 11 player, 100%. He's playing in Greece. He's swift, he's good, and he plays multiple positions. He can play center mid, right mid. I mean, you could throw him at the wing like you saw him there, and he can play up front. So, no, I love Orbelín Pineda. To me, right there with Tecatito and Chucky as fundamental players to be participating in the starting 11.
Sensational. I know we brought it up. Well, you brought it up. Edson Alvarez with that own goal once again. How do you feel that he's been performing? It seems to me that a lot of these Mexican players we have in Europe or and most of them are in Europe, they seem to perform better within their team, and we just need to find a way to transition how well they play over there to the Mexico national team. How do you think we can achieve that?
I feel like, right, it comes back to the people upstairs, right? But at the end of the day, Diego Coca only has 3 years to pretty much create a World Cup squad. Now, we know there's that game against USA coming up. I think it's like April 11th. That is going to be a fundamental game for Diego Coca to grab players from the local league, right? So everyone that's playing the Liga MX. So that's all he's going to be able to work with. I do believe he'll have time to work with them before they have that friendly match, and that'll be that pre-squad before the Gold Cup. And I don't know if you want to triple check what other friendlies are coming up, but the Gold Cup is, of course, going to be key. That's like that first tournament that's coming up where he needs to start pretty much creating that squad. Like, literally, you got to think about the World Cup is 3 years away, but if you think about it, you really don't have that many matches between now and the World Cup. We don't have all these preliminary qualifiers or anything like that. So to me, I think Diego Coca just gonna have to, depend on the moment of all the players that are what they're doing in the local leagues. He's gonna have to be on top of things and hoping, right, that hey, there's a player that's that comes out of nowhere, is doing great, is top goal scorer in Liga MX or anything like that. Then he needs to call him up, And I think anyone that just isn't making the cut, like, hey, listen, that's it, you're out the door. Let's keep it moving. And yeah, because what happens is in the past, a lot of coaches bring in players that they like or they're cool with. Like everyone, for example, Dr. Martino, he just a fuerzas, right? He wanted to bring, Antuna and obviously you're right. Pio Alvarado, like
Oh my God.
why, like it's insane. But yeah, I think if he sticks to what he thinks is gonna work, I know he's still trying. Like I said, these first games he used them as tryouts. I think he needs to forget about the tryouts and he needs to try to build that squad and have as much consistency as possible. For example, the United States, they have that set squad already, right? And today against Salvador saw, he did switch it up a little bit, but most of these players, they've been playing with each other. There's been that consistency. So now he just has to create that. I think these next couple of games, as long as you see a very similar lineup, here and there switching it up, but if you have that base, I mean, come on, that's practice makes perfect. You work with somebody long enough, you're going to build that chemistry. So we can't have 30 different lineups in these next 30 games. No, it needs to be some type of consistency, keep that vertebrae aligned. Really figure out, dude, if you're going to go with Ochoa, stick to Ochoa. If you're going to go with Acevedo, stick to Acevedo.
Yeah.
Not too much can change because at the end of the day, you only have 3 years left.
Exactly. Yeah, just to touch up on what you were saying, the U.S. will be playing Mexico in Arizona, April 19th. So that is a friendly you were mentioning. Why are we getting a random friendly against the United States? I don't know, but I think it should be fun. It should be fun if it's all MLS versus. Oh yeah, the money. But I mean, I know it was mentioned.
But we need both teams need it. I think the more you can get, whatever you can squeeze in, it's going to be good for both nations to see, who's what. So yeah, this is basically Liga MX versus MLS. Since we're not getting it in the All-Star game anymore, here it is, and it's and regardless if it's it's a friendly, but Mexico USA is
in Arizona.
It's never a friendly.
It's never. It's always a war.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm curious to know if Coca, what their relationship is. Maybe behind the scenes, I'm hoping they're talking to Chicharito, to Vela. I mean, they're MLS players, right? So, that'd be interesting if he can bring them back for that friendly and put them up against the Final Four, man. Because the Final Four is June 15th, and then June 18th is the final. We got to win that coming strong for that Gold Cup. So, I think we should just bring him, man. Hopefully, he can convince Vela and Chicharito because we need all the help we can get. All the help we can get would be magical. So,
I mean, Carlos Vela, man.
Time to be with egos anymore. It's time to please just come help us out. Let's all be united. Let's just forget about the Sorios, about the Tatas. Let's just come on. This is a new chapter, please.
Yeah, I have no doubt that Chicharito has that passion. I've seen his streams. Today he was actually talking about it, how him as a fan, right? Like we all need to change.
Como fanáticos tenemos todo el derecho de poder exigir y de poder pedir y de poder quejarnos si las cosas no van como queremos, ¿ok? Punto número 1. Ahora, punto número 2. Véanlo desde esta perspectiva. Tu selección va ganando, va haciendo goles y tú aplaudes, ¿no? Perfecto. Tu selección no está obteniendo buenos resultados y te quejas. ¿No creen que es un poco como extremo eso? Y entonces, ¿dónde está el apoyo? Porque cuando caen los goles y todo va saliendo muy bien, no hay apoyo. No hay. Porque cuando el Chicharito hace 3 goles o la selección hace 50 goles, festejas, no apoyas. Festejas, ¿verdad? Y entonces, cuando tu selección va empatando contra Jamaica en tu estadio y abucheas, no estás apoyando. Pero luego, el segundo partido de Coca que se abuche, creo que ahí es donde sí, creo que todos, si queremos llegar al quinto partido y hacer historia, ahí es donde todos tenemos que mejorar. Nosotros ganando, nosotros mejorando, nosotros jugando mejor. Pero los fanáticos también aprendiendo, creo que un poquito a ser buenos fanáticos.
Right? I mean, everybody. It's a team effort, and everyone's just frustrated right now. We're all one big family, and we're all living in the same house, and we're mad because, the people running the show aren't washing the dishes, the owner of this team, isn't helping out with the laundry. Like, no one is, there's no team effort here. And I'm sure the people in charge of La Selección at this point are like, well, look, we're trying to make changes in the league, and at this point, this is what we got. And they could get frustrated with the fans being irritated, but like, it's just there's gonna need to be some changes, and I think it's not gonna be night to day where everything changes. So I'm more like, hey, look, let's see what happens in the friendlies and the Gold Cups. I do agree. I think I would love once Chicharito comes back from his injury. I'm hoping he like turns up. I highly doubt Vela. I mean, he just doesn't care, man. He doesn't care. So I don't see
Such a
Vela
great
coming.
player. I mean, just
Yeah.
one more Gold Cup, Vela. Please, come. Please. Carlos Vela, por favor. Regresa a la selección. Just please. Come on. Copa America's coming up, man. Come on. Just give it to please, Vela, por favor. It only happens in Mexico, man. That our stars or bright players, that something always strange happens. They can't play. They refuse to play. You don't see that much in other teams, man. Only here in Mexico. It's a shame.
Definitely. No, there's always things going on in the background that we don't know about, and there's so much history with parties happening, and different coaches getting along with specific players, and the Chapel days, but you know what, the past is the past. I feel like
Yeah.
we just have to move on, man. We just have to move on, and if Carlos Vela doesn't want to come, we have to focus on whoever is willing to come and work that way. Set up a system. I mean, you look at Morocco, right? I mean, they made it to the semifinals of the World Cup. I mean, who would have thought? You look at a nation like Croatia, but you see that consistency, and
Oh yeah.
that's what we need to build, little by little. And that's what you're seeing with the U.S. I mean, I always compare us to them because they are, Mexico and U.S. are the two best teams in Concacaf, and right now they're leading the charge. You got to compare yourselves to them. See, what are they doing that we're not doing? And a lot. But real quick, I did want to say we were talking about predictions. We started a little thing where we would predict the score. You went with a 3-0 that Mexico would win. I went with a 2-0. Well, none of us got that correct, but I did say Chucky Lozano would score a goal. So right now I'm leading the charge, 1-0, 1-0 between now and the end of the 2026 FIFA World Cup. So, I don't know. We have a little bet going. There's still plenty of time, but we're just gonna enjoy the ride, making these memories, and like I said, let the grandchildren come and look at these videos and be like, "Oh, Grandpa Edgar was winning at the start." So there's not much to predict for the future, but I did want to give some shout outs, and I can kind of pull that up. I didn't know if you want to say anything else while I pull these up.
Yeah.
And then we can think about.
Yeah, I did want to say, as everyone did notice, Memo Ochoa, our keeper, he was booed a lot, and like you were saying, maybe it wasn't directly towards him, but watching the match and looking back at the replays, he did have a couple crucial saves. Jamaica could have won in the end. They could have won, but I think that the people, me included, I want to see some new blood. I want to see some, Acevedo, maybe a third keeper, someone different. Because the U.S., you look at them, they've already had a solid base. They've been working since 2018. They didn't make it to the World Cup, right? But instead of breaking down and like not working, they've been working with everything they got. They came in 2022. They got much better results than we did. They advanced. We didn't do it. And they still have the same consistency. And now they're going to be adding younger players from MLS that are killing it. And we're still with the same old players, man. Like, there's not really anyone that's new, no one that's exciting. I'm sure they're out there, but the league and everything, as we've talked about in the past, the corruption, just for whatever reason, won't allow it to happen. I hope that seeing that the U.S. is doing so well, that we can step up and say, you know what, we're going to make fundamental changes to our league to promote the younger players. Like MLS with MLS Next Pro is fantastic. I wish we had that in Mexico. I know we have Liga de Ascenso, Sub-20, all that, but, we're not really taking advantage of that. And it shows that the U.S. has much better players in Europe, a big quantity. We have, 10, 15 at the most? They have more than 50. It might be even more than that. So without that, the fans are going to be frustrated, and they have a right to be frustrated. Look, I mean, they work hard. They got to buy the ticket. Some people fly out from the U.S., from other countries to see this, and then they show up, and then you watch that. I mean, the fans are on every right to be without violence, no violence, but they're on every right to protest and to boo, and as long as they keep it without any violence, I'm all for it. Because what are we supposed to do? Cheer and clap and forget what happened in 2022 World Cup? No, we got humiliated. It was very, very bad. So we need to start seeing some better results. And I believe in Diego Coca. I think he's doing the best he can for now. But the league has to help him out too. We need those changes, because without that, we're going to see more of the same. And the people are getting frustrated. They're getting fed up. We want to see some new stuff. I was watching videos, and I'm going to go on a small rant, but from 1998 World Cup, 2002 World Cup, 2006, we didn't have any players in Europe. The only player in Europe was, Rafa Marquez back in the day? And we played so amazing. All those players, 1980 World Cup, 2002, were all Liga MX players. How is it that back in the day we had no one in Europe, no one, and we're playing much better back then? Now we have more players in Europe, and we're not seeing the level of play that they had. What's missing? The passion. I guess people nowadays, they put this green jersey on, and it's not the same. They don't have the same passion. Back then, it would mean something to the players, man. Now it's just say, we're going to come out, we're going to go to the U.S., we're going to go whatever, we're going to party, we're going to go shopping. Like, they don't really care anymore, man. So that's all. That's what I got to say about that.
Now, real quick, just to reply back to everything you've mentioned, in regards to the Memo Ochoa, I feel like the goalies, that's not really an issue. Like, Mexico has always had solid goalies, so that's like the least of our problems. Two, I agree, yes, about the system. Once again, bringing it up, U.S. has a great system when it comes to their youngsters, and I mean, my kids will have a better opportunity here in the future, and I'm hoping Mexico can keep up with that because they are starting to make changes now that the collapse has happened. So we can only hope that, okay, let's see this generational change, and yeah. And when it comes to the former teams, 2002, 2006, 1998, 94, I feel like maybe there's more chemistry. How they all lived in Mexico. Maybe there are more friendships. You tend to play better with your friends than if you play with strangers. So maybe that has something to do with it. I think they just have to create that union within the national team. And yeah, I mean, you need chemistry in order to flow on the field, right?
Exactly.
But real quick, we did just want to give some shout outs real quick to people that commented on the last video. We appreciate it. That's what it's all
very
about,
much appreciated.
Right? Just talking sports. So I don't want to butcher this name, so I hope it's Javon Wilson. And if I said it wrong, I do apologize. But thank you for commenting. We do feel Jamaica did solid out there. And same thing for Rich Post Sports here, leaving a compliment. And then Shrimply the Beast here, he's a U.S. fan. Right now, we've been laughed at, calling us the L Tree and that we're struggling. This is true. This is true.
So, yeah.
We're good sports. We recognize it. And we're hoping we can continue, talking between now and the 2026 World Cup. And Shrimply the Beast, if you're out there, maybe around the World Cup, we can meet up in one of these matches or discuss. And then shout out to Lee here with his prediction with Jamaica. He almost got it right. He just needed one more goal for Mexico there.
Oh, yeah.
And, we would have been good. So there it is, folks. 2-2, Mexico-Jamaica. It was a controversial match from our end, but I think it was great for Jamaica to show out in the Estadio Azteca once again. The Estadio Azteca is not the fortress it used to be.
No, it's not.
I think it would be interesting to be able to alternate certain stadiums in Mexico, give other people a chance to see the national team, and I think that would be great. But, I do understand Estadio Azteca is a World Cup stadium that will happen once again in 2026. So at the end of the day, I guess there's some marketing behind it. But still, I believe it would be great to see, some other stadiums come into play for these bigger games. But so for me, in regards to Mexico, I think it's going to be interesting when the Final Four goes down. Once the friendlies come about. I think we'll come back, talk about who's been called up, and maybe we can get a U.S. fan here. We can kind of chop it up before a match or something.
Oh yeah, please reach out. And I guess we'll see each other in about almost 3 weeks when after the Mexico USA friendly. That should be interesting. Hopefully we get a positive result.